So here's the thing. I said the web server. Let's think about the web server here. How is the web server going to keep track of the traffic from different clients using these numbers? How is it going to do that? It's always going to get stuff on port 80. How is it going to keep track of the different clients, though? Well, sure enough, up here, each client has a different IP address, right? And each connection on the client, and we'll talk about that later, has a different port number. So this is the way it can, the web server itself can make sure you get the traffic back that you want, and it knows what to do with your traffic. So, you know, when you're on Facebook, right, you only get your, coming back, you only get your Facebook stuff, okay? Other people don't get your Facebook stuff. That's how it keeps track of. This goes to Russell.
So the ports for the client, it's always just a random port?
Yeah, the port for the client is called an ephemeral port, and I'll just note here. The client port is called ephemeral. Ephemeral means it is, or it just goes away, basically, when the connection is closed.
Okay, so it's temporary.
Yeah, it's a temporary connection when connection is closed. And the number, I'm sure you're all interested in it. These numbers are they're supposed to start at 49152 and then just go up to, and the highest value is 65,535. That's about as much as fits in those 16 bits. Oops, I can't see that, sorry. So that ephemeral port number, again, it's ephemeral. That means it goes away when the client's done with the connection. And it's these higher numbers, okay? These lower numbers like this web server, those are specially reserved for different applications. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so what are we at here, okay? So here I was here. When I was making a connection to the web server, I used one ephemeral port, and I'm just going to flip back here. So let's put my client over here again. When I was connecting to that web server, I was using port 80. And I used an ephemeral port of 50047. If I'm going to connect to somewhere else, let's say over here I want to connect to send some email. So this is email. It uses SMTP. We'll worry about that later. I'm going to use their destination port is 25. That's what you'd use to send email. And I choose another ephemeral port number. And in this case, again, I just pick one more or less, or basically randomly. And I use 60003. Okay? So the random ephemeral means it's hard to predict the open port on the client, because we don't want people sending bad information, okay? This stuff can all be faked, I guess, as I want to emphasize here, okay? Someone can literally fake this IP address on a packet, fake a transport layer segment header around it with the right port numbers, and they could potentially send you bad stuff, okay? But since it's random, it's
not possible to send a different destination port down the same port or down the same port, is it?
No. Okay. So the question is, can you use the ephemeral port for different servers? And the answer is no. These combinations are reserved for one connection. So we'll note that. So if I'm talking a source and a destination, it is for only one connection. Okay? Port combination. So the port combination, that is a source and a destination. So the combination of those two numbers is only used by one connection. And also on the client ephemeral port is only used for one connection. Okay? So if I choose 60003, that's only for this connection to this email server. If I'm going to connect to something else, I'm going to pick a different number, a different new random number for this. Same with 50047. So port numbers, this is it's actually kind of simple when you think about it. What this also enables us to do, I'm running out of all this stuff. That's all right. So I got my stuff here. Let's go up to this top part. If I want to go to the web server, and again, I had one connection that was 80 using 50047. So here's my client. I can actually open another connection to the server and use a different random number. All right? And I can get different things back. So I can ask for some HTML, and I will get HTML back. I should write that in a different color, sorry. So it's from 50047 and 80, so here's my HTML. While I'm downloading that HTML, I can request an image, and then I can get the image back.
So that's like if you were to open up different web pages at the same time?
This is within the same web page.
Oh, okay.
Because keep in mind, your computer could potentially, if you open a web page, it has, 20 images on it.
Yeah.
I can open a different connection for every image if I want to.
Okay.
And what that enables me to do is while I'm downloading this HTML, my computer will see in there's an image tag, and then go and download the images up. And it makes it so the whole page is going to appear faster. So I can open multiple connections to the same server. And we'll just put here it's possible. It used to be on a web browser when we were on a dial-up connection. You actually had a setting. It was so sad. They stopped supporting it. There used to be a setting where you could say number of simultaneous connections. And you could just say 1 if you're on a dial-up connection, because otherwise it tries to download all this stuff and it's never going to finish anything. If you say 1 connection, it'll wait until the HTML file is completely done, and then it'll download the images one by one, and you can actually read it and look at the images. But the way we do it now, it's kind of hard to hack into. I think Firefox still lets you do it, but it used to be just a really prominent thing. And I would actually like to see it back, but I don't get to do it. All right, so there's multiple connections to the same server, and yes, I think that's good for that.